You're listening to Mr. Credit on San Diego 1700 with local credit expert Derek Evans. Now, live in studio, Mr. Credit.
Happy Friday, everyone, and thanks for listening to the most important hour on radio, and maybe the most important hour on radio in the land. Attorney Dan Kerr here, filling in for Mr. Credit, who is on his way to watch the ponies run at the Preakness this weekend. Lucky guy. We're live and local here in San Diego, Sorrento Valley. You can visit us online at MrCreditRadio.com. You can Facebook Mr. Credit, or you can send your questions to us via Facebook at Facebook.com/Dan Kerr. That's Kehr. Good win with the Padres last night. They've got a good streak going, sweeping San Francisco. The Dodgers are rolling into town tonight for a 3-game set. We will be taking live questions from you. You can send us an email at dan@kehrlaw.com or give us a call here in studio at 858-320-0068. We've got in the studio with us today Nick Dawson from Prime Lending, our mortgage and real estate expert, as well as the Chief Operating Officer for XMX Incorporated. Adrian, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic. Nick, can you give us a little update on the market?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me here today, Dan. Always a pleasure to be here. We've got an interesting thing happening right now with there's kind of the perfect storm, if you will. Rates are at an all-time low, especially in the last week or less. We've seen them plummet again back into the 4s. That's right, you heard me. 30-year fixed rates are back into the 4s, 4.75 on conventional loans, FHA loans, even the high balance loans up to $700,000. You're able to secure a loan in the 4s. So it's just a great time again to be to exploring the opportunities and options in real estate, both as investors, first-time home buyers. It's just a great time, especially with the tax credit right now going on. We are busier than ever, and it's exciting to see.
Yeah, it's a crazy market out there. How about Greece last week, huh?
Oh, my gosh, I know, plummeting. The euro dropping like a rock is definitely it's helping us here for sure. We're seeing, obviously stocks are taking a little bit of a hit on this right now, but again, with interest rates dropping, it's all intertwined, and there's a lot of mayhem happening right now.
So today we're going to be answering all your legal questions. Feel free to call or email them in. We'll also be talking about what's happening in the mortgage and real estate markets. Everyone's asking the same question. Is now the right time to buy? Nick will be here to answer some questions on that as well. We also have Adrian, who's going to be speaking about the demise of newspapers as a media outlet. I don't subscribe to the paper anymore. Do you?
Only on my iPad.
Everything's electronic these days, isn't it?
Pretty much. There's been kind of a steady stream of people leaving the print media. It's been, not just newspapers, but also magazines and just about anything that's in print is basically becoming digital, and people no longer subscribe to it. They'll only subscribe to the Sunday edition. They don't necessarily have the whole week. They might get it once in a while. Most people my age and younger, I'm 31, I could probably tell you not a single one of my friends can have the newspaper at home.
Tell us a little bit about XMX and what you guys do.
XMX was founded by my father about 21 or 22 years ago. My father used to work in the maquilas down in Mexico, and he realized that there was such a great influence between the United States and Mexico, and big corporations like Sony and Kodak were going down there to start those huge manufacturing facilities. So he started XMX to be a consultant for these huge companies, and then from there it kind of branched into, my dad has these little hobby ideas, and it turned into my father grew up in San Diego, even though he's from Mexico. He realized that there was always lots of people crossing the border all the time, but on both ways. Yep. It's very porous in that sense, where people can cross. Basically, it's a huge, busy border, and he noticed that Mexicans would cross the border, and they would come to Fashion Valley or Horton Plaza or down in Chula Vista, and they would buy clothes, they would buy electronics, just because things are a little bit cheaper here. So he started picking up on that, and that's when he started to realize that we could market and target the high-end Mexican client, and that's how we got our product.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because we were just chatting off the air a few minutes ago about that, and a lot of our clientele we're starting to help secure financing for homes they are people that work over in TJ across the border, and we're able to help them secure loans. At Prime Lending, we're able to get them into homes here using income that they're deriving from over there in Mexico. So we're seeing an influx of that as well.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there is. You know, there is. It's a good and bad thing that Mexico and U.S. share a border. You know, there's bad stereotypes and good stereotypes. One of the positive things is, and this is my opinion, is that we get to learn from each other's culture, and not just socially, but also.
Unless you live in Arizona, right?
Yeah, except Arizona.
Wow.
Yeah, we're not talking about Arizona, but I see that there's a lot of high-end Mexicans that have come into the United States. Well, they originally had second or third homes here already. They always send their children here. They go to the nicer schools, the nicer high schools. They shop here. They travel here. But it's a very good thing that there's this invisible kind of border where people can still have their culture if they still want it, and then they can have a safer life and a life of they can actually enjoy what they've been making over time. So
sure.
Yeah, it's interesting, and you probably know just as well as I do that the higher end Mexicans are cash heavy, and
absolutely
the idea of credit's very different in Mexico than it is here. So they definitely have the money to spend.
You have to be well versed in how to put those kinds of deals together, especially when you're trying to secure a loan. You have to know exactly how to do that.
Yeah, another thing we'll talk about today is the Mexican employment laws and how they differ here from the employment laws here in the United States. They are significantly different. If you think California's a pro-employee state, wait till you hear about the employment laws in Mexico. Yeah. So coming up next, we'll have Nick Dawson give us some more information on the real estate market. We'll answer your legal questions, and I will give you a great trust horror story. If you own a business, have a piece of real estate, are married or have a kid, you need a trust. You're listening to Attorney Dan Kerr filling in for Mr. Credit on San Diego 1700.
Are you sick and tired of just barely making the minimum payments on your credit cards? Do you have any idea how many years it will take for you to pay them off? Hi, Mr. Credit here. If you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, listen very closely. Filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy protection could allow you to eliminate all of your credit card debt and typically only lasts about 3 months. Most likely, your credit score will go much higher afterward. The only person I recommend you speak with about this is William McDonald with the McDonald Legal Group. Call him right now, 858-437-0103. That's 858-437-0103. A 90-day late payment on a credit card will hurt your credit score as much as filing for bankruptcy will. So stop living paycheck to paycheck and call William right now for your free consultation. 858-437-0103. That's 858-437-0103.
This is Lisa with the McDonald Legal Group. We are a debt relief agency. We help people file for bankruptcy relief under the Bankruptcy Code.
Are you married? Do you have children? Do you own a home or business? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then I hope you have a trust. Hi, Mr. Credit here. A lot of people think just having a will is protection enough, but unfortunately, that's not the case. If you want to protect your assets from the unnecessary and expensive costs of probate, then you need a trust. Visit KEHRlaw.com or call Dan Kerr right now, 619-823-8230. That's 619-823-8230. So you can get a trust established, protect your assets, and save your family a tremendous and often costly hardship down the road. This isn't something you can put off any longer. Mention my name, Mr. Credit, and Kerr Law will give you an additional 25% discount. Visit KEHRlaw.com or call Dan Kerr right now, 619-823-8230 to schedule your free consultation. 619-823-8230.